Yes, Kenya. Tamu sana, tamu sana, tamu sana, tamu sana, yes. Kisumu County was very peaceful today. And that's something that I know might have surprised some Kenyans because all along Kisumu has been the epicenter of protests and demonstrations, mandamano, but not today. What could be happening here, ladies and gentlemen? Before we answer that question, let's have a look at a post shared out by Kisumu Governor, Professor Anyang Nyongo. Office of the Governor, County Government of Kisumu, press release 25th 06 2025. Thank you, Kisumu. I say thank you again. I wish to thank the residents of Kisumu County for maintaining peace today during the activities commemorating the first anniversary of the Gen Z protests. The streets in Kisumu City and in other towns in our sub-counties remained relatively calm throughout the day. The people of Kisumu will always be vigilant to protect and promote human rights in our republic. We will also express constructive dissent to any form of political oppression and abuse of human rights. Honorable Professor Anyang Nyongo, Governor. So Anyang Nyongo was congratulating Kisumu for being peaceful. We are living in very interesting times politically. I want us to understand what's happening here and why I strongly believe Kenyans, and more so, those who have all along sung Haki Yetu, they must go back to the drawing board. They must understand the high-octane political games being played. If you are watching us but you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, give the video a like. Let's proceed. The big question is, why was Kisumu peaceful? Why is it that we never saw protests and demonstrations in Kisumu? Because naturally we were expecting that because Albert comes from the Luo Nation, Luo counties were going to come out to show solidarity with Gen Zs as they mark 1 year anniversary. But that never happened. Largely the whole of Luo Nation was peaceful. I've always maintained that our politics is largely ethnic. And even the Gen Zs who are on the streets protesting are hoping majority in the event there will be an election or in the event of an election, are hoping majority would look at where their ethnic political leaders are. Yes, some might not really put ethnic as a consideration, but a majority will look at where their ethnic political leaders are. We have Gen Zs in Kisumu, Homa Bay, Migori, and largely in the Luo Nation. Does it mean that Gen Zs in the Luo Nation, their interests differ from Gen Zs in these other tribes? The answer is a very big no. The consideration is ethnic. Where is my ethnic political leader? A good number or Mount Kenya residents who took to the streets today to demonstrate, they were doing that as a solidarity, not with the Gen Zs who were killed, but as a solidarity with Rigathi Gachagua, who was impeached by William Samoei Ruto. And I've also been maintaining that if today Rigathi Gachagua was to make a U-turn, if today he was to rejoin Ruto's government, most of those Mount Kenya Gen Zs will be singing and praising William Samoei Ruto. That's the truth, ladies and gentlemen. For so many years, Kisumu has been branded wale watu wa maandamano. And if you look at Kenya's presidential elections, as from 2007 to 2022, those elections were clearly rigged. The person who might have won in those presidential elections was never declared the president. And I'm seeing Kenyans in general have not made any changes on how our votes are being cast and on how presidents are being elected into office. We still have a William Ruto who most definitely or might have just nominated his allies to IEBC. I'm not seeing any reforms in our elections. So 2027 will not be different to all the previous presidential elections as from 2007. The people will not decide those elections. I think that's the wisdom that maybe Kisumu has realized, that haki yetu, hii maandamano ya kila wakati, has not been giving them the desired results. And it's true that if you keep on doing something the same way, but you're not getting results, then you must change your way. That's the wisdom maybe Kisumu has realized. And I strongly believe that that wisdom, all these areas that have been singing haki yetu, it would be more prudent if they also realize that wisdom. The truth of the matter, if you look at the opposition in terms of ethnic numbers, and that's something we can't run away from, in terms of ethnic numbers, Rigathi Gachagua controls more ethnic numbers than any other opposition leader. And ethnic numbers will be the main consideration come 2027. Rigathi is bringing these leaders together, these opposition leaders together, and giving them hopes that he might support one of them. While Rigathi knows that eventually he will outshine all these opposition leaders. So these leaders will have no option but to support him or to support somebody from the mountain, because it will be too late for any of them or for some of them to decamp. I think that's regarding the Shagua's game plan here. He wants to give these leaders hopes that they can be supported for the presidency. Eventually, these leaders will end up supporting Rigathi Gachagua. That might be the wisdom that Kisumu has realized. So for all these Kenyans who have all along sang haki yetu, I think you must now think outside the box. How are all these political games going to end? Are these Kenyans being used to continue this perpetual two ethnic tribes domination over other Kenyans? That's something Kenyans should ask themselves. Let me stop it there, ladies and gentlemen. If you are watching us but you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, give the video a like. To those watching us outside Kenya, drop a comment, let us know from which part of the globe you are watching us from. If possible, subscribe, give the video a like. Thank you.